Okay, it's Q&A day on, well, every Saturday morning's Q&A day. FBTV podcast, you can hear it using your favorite podcasting app. Matter of fact, you can watch it on YouTube on Saturdays. After Saturday, you can find the full podcast video on our website, freightbrokertv.com. Now, this is it came in Q&A, but it is a Q&A. It's from Pete, a guy named Pete. Apparently, he owns a trucking company. He says, a few weeks ago, I dispatched a brokered load to one of my drivers. My driver picks up the wrong trailer and takes it to the job site. The job site refused to load the trailer, so I sent the driver back to get the right trailer. Once we got the right trailer and we brought it back to the job site, well, they couldn't load it because the crane, which was set to load it, had left. All right, job site. There's a warning sign right there. Matter of fact, Pete, you knew it was job site, so bell should have been going off in your head. Your driver should have known. Job site. Better make sure and double check. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a moment. Okay, Pete says he spoke to the broker and he asked me to keep the trailer in my yard for a couple of days until they rescheduled a different crane. The load was rescheduled for 3 days later. We took the trailer, picked it up, delivered it, no issues. But there has already been an issue. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. Now, the broker's telling me that the customer is charging him, he says $15,000, but I know he meant $1,500, as they had to bring a whole new crew and crane to load the trailer. The broker told me it's my responsibility, the $1,500. I told him it didn't seem right. And I'm going to have to talk it over with my insurance company. My question, am I responsible for these charges? I mean, I know we didn't deliver or have the correct trailer when we went to load. And they did have to reschedule a different trailer, but $1,500? Come on. The load only paid $2,000. What do you think I should do? The rate confirmation states $100 for missed deliveries and an additional late delivery charge assessed by the consignee may also apply. Well, you're talking about two different things here. You're apple and oranges. One, Pete, your driver showed up with the wrong trailer. When I was doing flatbed, and I did flatbed, I like flatbed. Didn't like tarping, but nobody does, but that's part of the job. And to be honest with you, it always cracked me up when I brokered flatbed freight. And I have flatbed trucking companies say, we don't do tarps. We don't carry tarps. But you're a flatbed operation. Anyway, neither here nor there. They're always... I get it, nobody likes to tarp, but come on, that's money you're giving away. Or you're refusing because you just don't want to do the work. But anyway, the broker, I'm sure, told you that it was a scheduled appointment time. The driver had to be there at whatever time it was. It was a job site load. It was a job site. Whenever I've had to pick up or deliver freight to a job site, it was hammered into my head, I better not be late. They had a crane that was scheduled to unload me. Somebody had to pay for that. I'm sure the broker, it was on the confirmation. I'm sure the broker told you. And to be honest with you, if I'm the broker and I have a situation like this, I want to dispatch the driver. I want the driver to know exactly how important it is. I want to make sure the right information gets to that driver. I'm not going to give it to somebody else, be it a dispatcher or even a trucking company order, and expect the correct information to make it to the driver. I want to be sure I don't want to hear, well, I told the driver he didn't do what I told him to do. No, because what's generally going to happen? No, he didn't tell me to do that. Nobody told me. It's one of those things. This way, if I'm the one dispatching the driver on a load like this, I know the driver knew. As far as picking up the right trailer, I'm guessing you had step decks, flatbeds, whatever it might have been. Maybe load boys. I don't know what the load was or whatever. But you dispatched the driver. You say the driver picked up the wrong trailer. The driver should have known what trailer needed to be picked up. He should not have been left to guess. And if the driver called and said, hey, which one should I get? You should not have guessed. You should have picked up the phone and called the broker. Flat out. Now I'm going to back up here. If the broker did not communicate this to you, Pete, well, this should fall on the broker. That's the bottom line. If the broker failed to communicate any of this to you, the urgency, it was a crane, job site, but you use the words job site. If you didn't know it was job site till after, but it's really hard for me to, as a broker, it's really hard for me to visualize how a broker could not be specific about this load. This is just one of those things that can, be a nightmare. Are you responsible for these charges? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know you don't want to hear that. I know a lot of trucking companies are going to go, wait a minute. No. You showed up with the wrong trailer at a job site where a crane and a crew was scheduled. That cost money. Your guy she showed up but with the wrong equipment. They couldn't load him. Somebody's got to pay for that crew to be there. It's not going to be the shipper. The best thing you could have done at this point was walk away from the load. I commend you for not walking away from it, but you should have known. It was a job site. There was a crane. Somebody was paying for that crane. Now they're going to have that crane come back out at another time. That's going to be double expense. You got to pay for that. That time's got to be paid for. That equipment's got to be paid for. Used or not, it's got to be paid for. So yeah, it falls back from you, on you. If you would have turned down the load, if you would have, just walked away from it, I'll tell you what would have happened. The broker would have ended up paying for it probably. Probably. Is it a claim you could file on your insurance? Possibly. Possibly. You just got to have to talk to your insurance people. Best thing you could probably do, though, is eat it. They were paying you $2,000, charge you $1,500 for the cost of the crane. Well, you walked away with $500 on the plus side, not counting the fuel and everything. I understand that, but that doesn't replace the $1,500. But if you file a claim for negligence, that could increase your insurance premium. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel your pain, and you go down here, what do you think I should do? The rate confirmation states 100 for missed deliveries. This wasn't a missed delivery. This has nothing to do with delivery. It has to do with loading. The customer had to pay somebody, had to schedule a crane and a crew to be there to load the truck, to load your truck, and your guy messed up. Bottom line. I know some companies, trucking companies, let that fall back on the driver. The driver messed up. It's their fault. But if you didn't explain to the driver which correct trailer they needed to get, If the driver was unsure and they just backed up and hooked up to a trailer and went on, it's not the driver's fault. It falls back on you. So, Pete, chalk this up to a learning experience. It could have been a lot worse. My recommendation is to learn from it. Take the $500 that you made off of it, apply that to your bottom line, cut your losses, and move forward.